another episode of UFO Garage.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Joe. And this is where we talk about UFOs, aliens, and all things weird.
Oh, yeah. Dude. Virtual podcast, bro.
Dude, we're doing the coronavirus version.
Yeah, man. How are you holding up there? I didn't realize that painting or that photo behind you. Is that new?
No, that's a picture of me.
I know. I know I recognize the photo. I didn't know if that was new or not. I hadn't seen that before on your wall. That's sick.
Yeah.
That's sick, dude. Was that the mutton chop days?
Those are the mutton chop days, dude.
Yeah. That's sick.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
And there's the handsome version of me in the background of that photo too.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah, man.
Hilarious. Dude.
That's what I couldn't grow a mustache. I must have been what 20, 21?
I think so, man. I think that video was taken, or that picture was taken at the apartment complex.
Yeah.
I think it was the spring break apartment complex.
Yeah. Didn't Taylor Greer take that?
I think so.
I think that's one of the photos that she took when she came to one of our shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, man. So we're going to kind of keep it a short intro today. Till we can get back to doing the real thing, you know. But today we have Lisa O'Hara with us, and she's going to be talking about her experiences, and she wrote a book called Abducted and Furious. So she sent us a couple copies, and I'm pretty excited to read it. Well, yeah, dude. I mean, if you want, let's go ahead and get into this.
Yeah. All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're joined here today with Lisa O'Hara. And she is the author of the book Abducted and Furious. And so she's just somebody who reached out to us, who emailed us, and she was telling us a little bit about her book and whatnot. And she sent us a couple copies. Unfortunately, though, with this whole virus thing being so crazy, priority mailing is a thing. So they probably won't be here till a little bit later. So unfortunately, we haven't had a chance to read the book. But on the flip side of that, Ben, dude, I mean, we're going to get like a fresh take on this entire story. So yeah. I'm pretty excited to hear about it. Ben, I know you're pretty excited too. So Lisa, if you don't mind, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody and let them know what you're about.
Okay, well, I'm just an average person who have ET experiences. I lived in California for approximately 30 years, and I have 2 Maine Coon cats, and I moved to Arizona in 2011. And that's about it.
Right on.
All right. Awesome. Well, sweet. Yeah, so how about maybe start from the beginning with your story? Is this something that recently happened to you, or have you had contact kind of your whole life, or is this like a recent?
It's hard to know, but I do think I've had contact my whole life. It's just that there were little things happening to me when I was younger. And also around 2012, I started, more and more things started happening to me, like spirits started talking to me. And I was told that I was a psychic medium. And so I didn't really know what that meant. And I had to, try to figure it out and find somebody to mentor me, because when you're dealing with spirits, they're extremely, there are some nice ones, but there are also some bad ones. And when you connect with them, you're supposed to connect to their vibration. You have to be at the same level. So it's sort of like an elevator. If my elevator is a little bit higher than yours, then you can't connect to me. So if the 2 elevators are at the same floor, then they can connect. But you don't know what else is coming through at the same time. So there's a lot of protections in place when you actually become a medium. So I pursued that for a little while, but decided that wasn't really what I wanted to do. It's pretty laborious, and it's really a lot harder than it seems, Yeah. So at that point, the medium was trying to help me figure out what to do. I was doing meditation, and the woman started trying to help me figure out what was going on at night, because I would have these really wild dreams and I wouldn't know what to do. Just scary things would happen. I'd wake up, I'd be sleepwalking, just stuff like that don't even seem strange at all, but strange enough. And then since I was meditating, I was talking to my spirit guides a lot, and I was also, I guess, raising my vibration. And when you raise your vibration, you start feeling more things. You start seeing more things. The more you see, the more you feel. The more you see, the more you feel. So at that point, I felt something in my room one night, and I asked my spirit guides, what is that? What is that negative feeling? And they said, oh, that's ETs. They've come to take you.
Oh, no. Oh, no. So
that was about 2017. So that's when I started my journey as like, I do not want to be in this position. At first I was scared, and then I was really mad because what the hell?
Yeah.
Who do you think you are coming into my house and taking me?
Right.
So that's what started it all.
Yeah. I always think like how violating that must feel and terrifying. Joe and I always talk about like the possibility or hypothetically what we would do. And I mean, we would definitely be terrified, but definitely pissed if it went in a bad way. Sometimes you hear of contact experiences that went really well. And then sometimes it's a really pleasant experience, and sometimes it's a really negative one. The I guess the truth is that there's not just one type of ET out there taking people, and that's what we've kind of put together. And yeah, it sounds like maybe you had a run-in with a negative experience.
I've had many negative experiences, and that's what I've determined is that for me, it's a very negative experience, and it's horrifying and terrifying, actually.
Right.
And so just the thought of, not knowing what went on because your memory's erased. What are they really doing?
Yeah.
Right.
And why can't they tell you what it is they're doing?
Right. So do you have vivid memories of this particular night or were you taken that night, or is it kind of like erased from your memory?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I was taken that night. In my book, I talk about certain tools that you can use to actually go back inside your memory of what they've erased.
Oh, wow.
And so, some people talk about hypnotic regression and whatever. It's sort of like that, except that you're exploring your own mind. You're going backwards into your own mind. And because of that, then you can see the truth as opposed to what your dream's telling you.
Wow.
Like, for instance, if you have a dream, for instance, like you lost your wallet. This is a common thing. People lost their wallet, or they're walking around naked, and they're wondering if anyone else notices that they're naked. But you can also feel that kind of stressful feeling. So that means that your mind was trying to come up with something that was common to you,
Right.
to give you, but the feeling is of stress. So behind that, what's behind that?
Oh, wow. Okay. Like the dreams that you have when your teeth are falling out, maybe that's often something that's tied to stress or the feeling of out of control.
Exactly. What do
Yeah.
your dreams feel like? Instead of trying to determine, is this dream everything is myself, or bicycle means this, or whatever, maybe you should look at how it feels and then look behind the dream.
Wow.
Because that might be something that you want to look at, because if you do, you might find something you don't like. Now, some people are going to be too scared to do that, and I understand it's a scary thing. But if you get angry instead, you can, start eliminating these entities, and that's what I started doing.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah. Like our friend Lorian. She says, you know what? I know some stuff has probably happened, and people ask me to get regressed all the time, but I just don't even want to know. I don't even want to know.
Right.
So,
yeah.
That's true.
I've definitely kind of sighed on that thing. I definitely have some weird dreams, but I don't know. I don't think I want to know if stuff's going on. But yeah. So maybe talk a little bit about Lisa. Maybe so your first experience that you definitely remember exactly what happened to you. Maybe if you would like to share that.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Actually, after this happened, after this particular thing happened, I contacted MUFON because that's, I didn't know where else to go. I mean, who else do you contact about this kind of thing, And I told this to her, but and it's in my book also. So there was a point where I was moving around my recycle bin in Arizona. There's huge blue bins, and they're sharp, on the edges because it's plastic. And I was moving around a bin, and I was walking backwards, and I fell, and I cut my knee. And so that night, it starts throbbing like crazy. So I couldn't figure out why, but all of a sudden, next to my bed was a big grasshopper, a big greenish brown grasshopper, saying to me telepathically, "Come up to our ship, please let me fix your knee."
Wow.
So my knee was calling to her. My knee was beaconing to her.
Wow.
Saying, "This is a damaged implant. And please, please let us come take you to the ship." I don't know if I thought that they needed to get my permission or what, but I was like, no. I mean, I'm not giving you permission to take me to the ship. But the funny thing was, and this is common to a lot of people who are visited by ETs, is that you cannot stop looking at them because it is just so fascinating, horrifying, surreal. I mean, you are just transfixed. You cannot even move. I mean, It's not because you're paralyzed. You just cannot believe what you're actually seeing next to your bed.
Right.
So what you do is you just are staring at them, trying to remember everything, but you're not moving. You're not running away. You don't kick them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just are stuck there.
I definitely, I sympathize with that because I don't think I could look away if I saw a creature that's not human talking intelligently. I don't think I could look away. The fact that you described it as a grasshopper, I'm wondering, we've heard stories of sometimes they can project or leave stuff in your memory that, it was actually an owl or something else. Is that kind of similar to what you're saying, or are you saying that this creature did have like a bug-like appearance?
I'm going to say that at that time, I believed it to be a grasshopper. It looked exactly like a grasshopper. And right now, and later, I had seen praying mantises. And they looked exactly like praying mantises to me. It was just one of those things. The second time it happened, and I can't remember exactly all the details right now, is they came by and they pointed at me and I fell asleep. And that was scary, but prior to that, they kind of used some sort of spoon or tuning fork and whacked me on my genitals.
Oh, no.
And it was just weird but you know what I mean? So like I'm laying there, just cannot even believe it, and then they point at me and I fall asleep. So
wow. So they have some kind of telepathic way of just pointing at you and you could fall asleep, or some kind of frequency that just puts your mind out.
That is correct.
Wow, that's interesting. So you've seen like these little grasshoppers and the mantis and stuff like that. I mean, do you recall how many different varieties of these things that you've seen, or does it seem to be by the same group?
There seems to be, initially there seemed to be a lot more groups. And, for instance, I had this one dream, and it's in the book too, that my right foot I saw this very long fingernail. A lot of times you just see like snippets. You don't see whole scenes or anything. So you'll see a snippet of like a very long fingernail cutting a hole into your foot. And the next day I actually had how you'll get like a blister on your foot and the skin will puff up? That's exactly what I had on my foot. It was the weirdest thing, but the skin was gone and I didn't take it off.
Oh, goodness.
And so you're wondering, what the heck, I mean, are these things that are actually happening? I mean, there's evidence, but it's not really evidence, because if you tell someone about it, they'll go, "Oh, you probably got a blister there and you didn't remember it," or you know what I mean? There's a logical explanation. But to have a dream about a whole, a piece of skin being taken off your foot, and then the next day finding that area in the way you dreamed it, is just like, what in the heck is really going on? And I guess I'm kind of extra curious. Besides being so angry, I was just like, what is this really about? I mean, could they be after? I'm an older woman. I'm not that interesting. So, I mean, seriously.
Does anybody else in your family have any history of strange encounters or, being a psychic maybe?
Actually, apparently my grandmother had my mother's mother had a dream where she was trying to cross a river. And so whenever she was worried about something, if she had the dream that she crossed the river, that meant everything was going to be okay. And if she had the dream that she couldn't cross the river, that meant that nothing was going to be okay.
Uh-huh. Huh.
But I asked my mother before she passed away, and she said no, she never had anything like that. But interestingly, one of my sisters that I hang out with, she and I, when we're together, it's pretty strange. We have very unusual experiences where I'll sleepwalk. She'll touch me in the middle of the night saying, "You don't have to go, you don't have to go." Just stuff like that where when she stays at my house, and I'm a night owl, she's an early bird, I'll wake up when she wakes up. It's really bizarre. I mean, there's some connection there, but I don't know what it is. So
yeah, wow, okay. So maybe some connection there with you said your sister was in the dream with you, and did I hear that right? That she was.
No, we were. I was staying over at her house, and she has a lumpy couch, so I was sleeping next to her in a queen size bed. And when I was, I don't remember exactly what was happening, but she had her hand on my hand and was patting it and saying, "You don't have to go. You don't have to go."
Wow.
So, and then when I did a remote view of that, which is in my book, how you're kind of looking backwards, it had some sort of unusual peanut-shaped head ET.
Wow. A peanut-shaped head ET. Okay, yeah, I'm really interested in the description of the... It sounds like you've seen multiple different species.
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
So, yeah, I'm like really interested in that. What to you, what was the most, I guess, different looking? I'm interested in there's definitely the humanoid archetype with the head and two arms and two legs. Is that kind of the extent of these creatures, or did you?
You know what? The human creature is pretty, seems to be pretty involved in this too. So it's not just ETs. It seems like there is some collusion with humans.
Right.
But there seems to be a lot of experimentation. And one thing I saw, like a cat that looked like a half-breed cat spider.
Whoa.
And I've seen people with spiders with human heads. And just stuff like that. I mean, or I'll see somebody wearing like a suit that's supposed to be a beetle, and then it's not. It's a human wearing a beetle suit. And I've seen beetles wearing human suits. And oh my God, I've just seen it.
Wow. Dang.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That is really interesting. So do you remember the setting of which that you saw this? Was this in a regular room, or do you remember being on a ship of some kind?
Sometimes it doesn't seem like I'm on a ship, but sometimes I'll see myself in the standard, laying on some large, bright aluminum table, and then they'll have some sort of it'll kind of look like a big flat thing with like a coffee can, like 3 coffee cans, so that it kind of looks like, kind of like some sort of, not probe, but I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm not sure. Some of these things that you see, you're like, what? How do I even describe this? And you end up, drawing them and as best you can remember, which I'm not much of a drawer. And so I'm trying to figure out, what did I actually see? I don't know. And a lot of times when you're looking backwards into your dreams, into your mind, you see the gist. You don't see every aspect of the situation. You just see, the important parts. And so that way you can figure out where did I go? What did I do? So a lot of times I'm in an operating room. And there are people, humans or others, with their masks on because they don't want me to see who they are. And and so they actually have, like surgical masks on.
Wow.
And other times they're just trying to get information out of me. I had this one where I was in a water tank and they kept putting me in and then taking me out and then trying to get me to tell them what I knew and what I didn't know. And, I don't even know what that was about. But there they were dunking me in this water tank.
Do you think you're a part of maybe like some like MilLabs experiment?
I do. Actually, because there were quite a few times when I would have quote unquote dreams about people, men with big hairy arms grabbing me and holding my arms down or giving me big bruises on my legs where it was obviously a human hand. Other times it was 4 fingers and a thumb, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
or
definitely.
3 fingers and a thumb. So there were times, and I tried to, but in the beginning I didn't take a lot of pictures because I was just sort of like being a detective in my own mind. But then as I realized I better start taking some of these pictures, I did take some, and there are some in the book. And some of them are really strange. I mean, they're just, I have one that looks like a Y. It's like, what the hell? I have one on my leg that looks like SP or JP. And it actually looks like syringe marks where somebody physically went in and actually, put those on my leg as like a signature or a stamp. Or recently I had one, and I could probably send you a picture of it. It's gone now, but it looked like an M.
Huh.
And so
Whoa.
it's like, what the hell?
It's so strange because it always makes me think of like what's really going on, because you have these experiences where you got people who have like implants and things like that all over their body, but there is not a mark on them, right?
Right.
And then you have on the other side where people are, I mean, you could even say getting like pricked to like almost close to mutilation at some point. And it's like, which one of these is doing this like more dirty work, it seems like, and which ones are doing this clean work? It's a real fine line that I seem to have, and I'm wondering because I don't even know if the purely like ET connection, if maybe they're doing the clean work and maybe the ones that are working with the humans are doing more of the messy stuff.
I agree with you because I've had a lot of weird bumps. Like in the beginning, I realized that I had these weird syringe marks. That's what I thought of them because they were raised bumps. They would be under my eye, or they would just be a raised bump, and it looked like it had a hole in the middle, and it looked like a syringe mark. And I was thinking to myself, why would ETs use a syringe? And that's when I suddenly started realizing that a lot of times these marks do look like syringe marks, and it's probably people. It's humans doing this to me. And I don't know why. But yeah, that's why I started thinking, you know what? I read about the MilLab thing, and I was very interested in it because there was quite a bit of time that I started realizing that when I woke up, my mouth, even though I'd brushed my teeth the night before, I had plaque. Right. So how would I have plaque?
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense. And so I realized I must be eating or drinking something, and and then I would have plaque when I woke up.
Have you been able to contact anybody about your MilLabs experience, or talk to anybody who has experience or knowledge in that area?
No, and you know what? That's part of the problem. I mean, one of the reasons when I found these tools that were really working for me in eliminating the ETs, I was looking for people like me who had these experiences, were unhappy about it, and wanted to do something. But I'll be darned, it is so hard. First of all, you can't find anyone to admit that they were actually abductees. But secondly, to find a second group that says that they hate it and they want it to stop is damn near impossible. Man. So that's why I had to write the book, because I figured the only way to get to these people is to write a book and then talk to other people and see if I can get some momentum to help these other people like me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I mean, we got people like, Melinda Leslie, right, who has done like 30 years of research in the Mill Lab stuff, and she's a friend of ours, but it seems like to her it's like a goal of finding out like kind of who's behind this and who are all the players. She does have these abduction experiences, which she seems to have come to terms with, and it does seem like maybe the ones that she is most bothered by seem to be these maybe like more military abductions that is happening to her, and she says that, the reason that they're doing that is because you have this ability to contact the ET in the first place. They want to know whether or not you've flown the ship or you've seen language or you've, done this or that. That's what they want to, know. And then you have people like our buddy Justin, who is like, stop calling them here. They're not your friends. Trust me. They're going to kill us all, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
exactly. I mean, actually, Terry Lovelace is another guy. I actually wrote to him. I read his book. I wrote to him and said, "Oh my gosh, you're not alone. I just want to tell you, I found some tools." And he said, "You should write your book. You should write your book."
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, exactly. But I agree with your friend. Who is behind it, and I mean, I think it's just so asinine, but it does sound like our government, doesn't it? To say, okay, you're being contacted by ETs. Your memory has been erased by, technology that's so far superior to ours, but we'll beat you up and we'll, you know what I mean? We'll try to extract information out of your brain and we'll be rough with you because you can't remember it anyway. I mean, what jerks. That's why I'm so mad.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's happening to me anymore now because I'm just so pissed off. I've been trying to eliminate them. And I think also when I was writing my book, it seemed like there was, it just seems like they're in our computers, either AI or some other thing. And so as soon as I wrote my book down and wrote down inside my book is actually my journal. Because my spirit guides made me put that in there, which I didn't want to do because I just thought it was kind of boring. But then they convinced me that the abductees will want to know every step you took,
Yeah.
So I put it in there.
Absolutely.
And some abductees have told me, "Oh, I really like that part," whereas other people, my husband, go, "Why is this here? It's so boring."
Oh man.
So.
Does your husband have any experiences like this at all, or is it kind of your thing?
I think he does have experiences, but, he falls asleep immediately. He has scientific explanations for every single thing. And actually, truthfully, I've stopped talking to him about it because it's just, it's like, why should I beat my head up against the wall? I mean, I appreciate the fact that you have sciencey explanations, but that's not my experience. And it's just frustrating. But at the same time, it's sort of like a break from it because when you are living in this situation, you're in it all the time. You're always thinking about it. You know what I mean? It's sort of like you're in your own little head. And so the good thing is about my husband and people like them is that they kind of ground you and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go and watch TV and be with my husband. And you know what I mean? Not be in this anymore because I really need a break from it.
Yeah. Well, you definitely, science does seem to explain whatever the action is that's happening, but it doesn't ever explain the experience,
Right.
From the experiencer themselves. They're like, look, I know we can come up with a million different reasons as to why something was in the sky or why I thought something, but the experience that I had is completely different than me just seeing something in the sky or, having this feeling, like
exactly. Absolutely right.
Yeah. Wow. So,
and actually, one of the reasons I thought that it was important to write this book, even my, even other people said, "Well, you don't have any proof. You don't have any proof," and I don't, and that's true. And I said that in my book because the thing is that most people don't have proof. And is that a reason to stop them from telling their experiences? No. Just because we don't have, black helicopters, pictures of black helicopters or, you know what I mean? We don't have that. Maybe we just have some bruises on our body, but that's not a reason for us not to write our book.
Right.
And talk about our experiences.
Yeah, because a lot of this stuff, you're not gonna find it. A lot of the times, this stuff is very they're pretty good at what they do.
That's right.
They leave marks and messy things behind, but a lot of the times you're not gonna find the proof, and that just seems to be the ball game right now.
Right.
There are a few people out there who do have, like this proof, they're starting to get experiments done on them, and there's people who are finally cutting metals out of their bodies and actually getting picture and video of this stuff. And, those people seem to be, far and few between, but I think enough of them are starting to become comfortable with what's happening. And enough of them are starting to come out that, it's really going to help people in your situation who are maybe having a hard time getting this proof, because it's not easy,
Right.
Definitely not easy.
Yeah.
And, and I hate to say it, but I mean, even though I don't think Terry is lucky he has, that metal in his leg or foot or whatever, but in some ways he is, because he has proof.
Right.
People like me do not have anything. All we have are pictures of bruises and, but nothing else. So, but that's not our fault. And also that doesn't mean it didn't happen. So I just wanted to encourage other people like me who are having unusual experiences to report them and to talk about them, and not to be ridiculed or, have it act like it's some taboo subject that we can't talk about, we can't, discuss.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's really interesting how you're talking about this in kind of like dream form. The other day I was talking to Eric Mitchell, and he was talking about how he had a dream that he woke up and went outside and saw this craft and videotaped it. And then he woke up the next morning and he was telling his friend this, and his friend was like, check your camera. And he checked his camera, and turns out in the middle of the night, he did wake up and did film something. And all you can see is like this blue haze from what he but for some reason, he had a dream that it happened, but he actually did it. And he kind of, same thing, sleepwalks and, just random things like that happen,
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, so it sounds like you have a lot of these kind of like dream encounters. Have you ever had like a more maybe hands-on physical? Do you feel like you've had a like more physical contact, like maybe like Terry Lovelace poking his head out of a tent and seeing these grays, or a giant ship or anything?
I actually do. I mean, the grasshopper and the praying mantis were not dreams; they were actual. And I've also, when I lay in my bed, a lot of times I see things that are moving. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I have had that. And I'm getting bolder now. I actually start pointing at them now, and I walk up and try to touch them now, because, I am sick of it. So yeah. I'm just done. You want to come into my room, but, get out now.
Yeah. So without giving too much away in your book, do you want to share with us kind of some of the things that you can do to kind of ward off this from happening, or things that people can look forward to reading in your book? Just kind of maybe some tips or pointers for our listeners if this kind of things is happening to them.
First of all, read everything you can. I mean, read Whitley Strieber's book, because a lot of things that they've encountered, you might be encountering. So things that, he wrote Communion, and I read it, and I thought it was a really good book. But there are just sometimes things in there that you go, oh my gosh, I've seen that. I've been through that. You know what I mean? It just rings a bell. The MyLabs book is really good. That's why I suddenly realized, oh my gosh, I wake up with plaque, and that explains it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm, There's something going on, and there is truly something going on in the middle of the night that is really happening. And just because I don't remember it doesn't mean it didn't happen. But look, I have plaque on my teeth. I mean, the tools I found are really specific. They're actually from Stuart Swerdlow. He wrote a couple of books. He's from the Montauk Project.
Okay.
And I would probably read some of his stuff is a little bit out there for me, but that's what happened was I actually got guided to some of his books by my spirit guides. And that's how I found these. I would never in a million years have found them otherwise. So, and I would do a lot of meditation because your spirit guides are there to help you. And they will guide you to the right thing. But, one of the things that I had to learn myself was something called discernment when, the medium that I went to was constantly talking about discernment and feeling them and whether you could feel their intention and that kind of thing since I couldn't see them. Well, the problem is they can, mimic your emotions. So you might feel nothing, and that might be all they're allowing you to feel. So don't beat yourself up if you don't feel their negativity. Sometimes you do, but majority you don't because they don't want you to, right? You'd be scared then. You would run away. You might scream. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I would just, I would do that. But once you get the tools, and I'm not trying to make a lot of money, I'm just trying to disseminate information. Use them all the time. I mean, all the time. Not just when you think you're being abducted, but just all the time. One of them is called the cancellation tool, and it's to take out all unnecessary negativity in your life. And when you start using that, you're not just getting rid of ETs, you're getting rid of narcissists and, people you don't need in your life, people, things, and, like you were saying earlier, frequencies. Sometimes they're frequencies, they're affecting your life in a negative way. Use the cancellation tool on that.
Right.
The
Uh-oh. Something happened. Hey, Jess.
Guides mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I mean, do you...
Sorry, y'all.
Consider maybe...
Sorry, microphone and speaker went away. I think Jess turned on the Bluetooth speaker. So... Or her headphones or something, I think, interfered. Sorry. So I think if y'all could back up just a little bit. I lost you again.
Than the ETs themselves, or do you think that maybe there's like some kind of relation? I find it interesting that you had like a connection with a mantis, because a lot of people will say that the mantis is kind of a spirit guide to them. Do you have any idea on what the spirit guide could be?
Well, one of my spirit guides is also a mantis, so interestingly. But for me, it's just somebody who, it's sort of like that intuition when, it's not like your conscience, but when you're driving and you suddenly feel like you have to go to the left on your way home instead of to the right, which is your normal way. That to me is like a spirit guide directing you. Right. And so as you do more meditation and get more familiar, you might ask while you're meditating, you might ask your spirit guide, well, who are you? Can you tell me your name? And then you can ask for, can you help me today? They're not allowed to interfere in your life until you ask them or give permission. So they just want you to, say, please help me with this. And they will help you. So, they're there. I believe they're there all the time. A lot of times what I see, and, we're all different, is I'll be driving and I'll see the street sign of the street they want me to turn on. And then I'll turn there. Now, in the past, I have thought, why do you want me to go this way? I'm just going to go the way I want to go. And then I'll drive down the road that I normally go. And then there'll be some crazy driver that almost runs me off the road. Right. So after that happened a couple of times, I'm like, see, they're here to help me. I'm just going to do what they say, So that's what I found. Anytime I go against what they are trying to get me to do, it's usually a bad thing. So right. When I need help, I ask for it. For this book, they really wanted me to write this book. And I would thought it was crazy, at first. And what am I going to write about? I mean, okay, I found these tools, but how am I going to do this? And then they'd say, well, you could say this, this, and this. Oh, okay. So then I'd write that. And I'd say, okay, well, I need some help with this too. And then they would. So a lot of times I just, utilize them for helping me do the things they wanted me to do. They wanted that book, then I need some help. I need some ideas. What else could I tell them? What else would help them? And so that's how it got started, where they're like, you need to put your journal in the book, type all your journal right this minute. And so I spent a couple of days typing up my journal, and then I go, I don't know, this doesn't seem right. I don't think this should be in here. Oh yeah, it has to be in there.
Oh wow, okay.
And I went a couple of rounds and said, I don't want to. It seems stupid, or today it seemed good, but now it's horrible. And but they insisted, and so it's still there. It's in there.
Do you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
Go for it, man.
Oh, I was going to ask. So I've talked to a few people that seem to think that they have. I guess we can call them spirit guides, but they see them as also an extraterrestrial that is kind of that is kind of guiding them in a positive way. Some call them like light beings. Some people call them like angels. We spoke to somebody at this conference that kind of did a reading on Joe and I, and she said there's a protector mantis creature that was like standing behind me, which I thought was kind of cool. I think that was kind of a positive experience for me. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much I want to give. I don't know enough about this to believe which way or the other. But the thought that something's out there kind of protecting me is kind of a cool idea. Do you think that they could be an ET origin, or do you think it's more of a human protector?
No, I think there are a lot of ETs, and I think sometimes the angels, I think they can be, whatever you think of them as. I mean, if you'll hear people, oh yeah, Archangel Michael, this is what he looks like. He has blonde hair and he wears a blue shield and blah, blah, blah. And then you'll have somebody else say, no, Archangel Michael doesn't have that. He has black hair and blue eyes. And, so I think it's, whatever you feel like your spirit guide looks like is who, you know what I mean? So if you think of them as an angel, then they're an angel. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have, if that's what you need for your spirit guide,
right.
Talk to your spirit guide. So I don't think mine were all human, but I think they all acted human to me at first because they knew I was scared. And I didn't, and they had already, scared me with the, here's a bunch of ETs in the room, and that's why you feel that negativity. So then they didn't want to say, oh, by the way, I'm also an ET,
right?
Because,
by the way, sorry, but I'm kind of an ET too.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really here to help you, really, really. So there's just a lot of, I think, they're here to help you. They don't want to scare you. They want you to know the truth, or if you want it. So if you don't want the truth, then, you could use them to help you in your daily life. If you want to know the truth, if you're seeking the truth like I am, and hopefully other people are like me, then they'll help you with that. So they'll help you with whatever it is you want them to help you with.
Yeah.
Right.
Very cool.
So I was going to say, how many, you've had these negative experiences, but I guess you could kind of take your spirit guides as like the positive experience of this whole thing, right? Because I was going to ask, have you had any positive encounters, or have they mostly been negative, other than your spirit guides, I guess?
I'm not sure, actually. Mm-hmm. Because because maybe it's because I'm so focused on the negative ones and determining who's, running the show and all that. I haven't really been focused too much on the positive, but I feel like my spirit guides do give me that positive input. It's just that I'm not seeking them out as much as I am trying to discover who's behind my abductions. So I don't know.
I
Crazy.
question about have you ever kind of came back from or looked back on an experience and came out with like a moral or some kind of message from these ET? Have they, given you some kind of thing to take back with you, like, hey, do this, or you guys should really start meditating more and elevate your frequency so you guys can join us in the galactic force, anything like that?
Actually, yes, but not from looking backwards at the ET experiences. What I do get is, in my book, I say this too, and on my page, I have pictures of my pyramid. I actually meditate in a pyramid. And the pyramid is sort of like a funnel for meditation. It's really, really cool. And when you're in it, that's when you get a lot of information from your spirit guides. So if you want to like have an experience, is try meditating in a pyramid. You can either make your own. I have instructions in my book, or you can buy them online and you just sit in them. Pyramids, if you look them up, have fascinating qualities. They will do healings. They'll heal, change water in some way, so it's healing. You can sit under them and heal. You can grow things under them. So yes, a lot of times I get tons of information that I need in my daily life by sitting in meditation. So I highly recommend everyone meditate as much as possible, but life gets in the way and that kind of thing. But yes, so that's where I have my most positive experiences, is when I'm meditating.
Right.
Yeah. Our buddy Peter Benson, he does the tensor rings and does like the pyramids and has like the giant, tensor hoops and things like that. So yeah? Him and I believe it's his fiance. Her name is Vivian Chabet. And,
I went to her for a couple of times.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. She's a really nice lady, man. She's super nice. And so is
Have you
Pete.
been to their house? Have you been to their house with their big giant pyramid?
I haven't been to their house, but I have one of the pennants that they make, her and Peter make. So, but yeah, they're super nice people. So that's cool that you've been to them for help.
Yeah, I've been to her a couple of times and got healings, and she has like some sort of like bed, or not bed, but kind of like a lounge bed that's underneath this pyramid, and it's really cool. As soon as you step into it, you can feel it, and it's pretty cool. And she's the only person I've ever met or heard of that also has a pyramid. Mine's portable, so I move it around, but hers is, underneath her healing bed. So
that's cool. Yeah. We were telling them that they need to make a tensor ring, but the size of like a house, and just put it around the house, or what was it, a doorway that we were talking about? That'd be kind of cool to have, like, as a doorway. Yeah. But it couldn't be round, right? It would have to be oblong.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it would be like a porthole and everybody would trip over it. Right?
Or then you have to just have like a hobbit door, Yeah.
Yeah, make it a round circle door.
Yeah.
Or what if you're tall? I mean, I don't know. I'm tall, so it's hard for me to imagine, bending over to get into doorways and everything.
Yeah. Lisa, do you plan on taking your book on the road? Do you have any plans on going to any get-togethers after all this virus stuff is over? Is there any plans to attend things?
Yeah, I would like to attend some. Last year I went to UFO Congress and I kind of got my feet wet, and that's where I got to physically meet Terry Lovelace. Prior to that, I just emailed him. Just kind of get a feel for the place, since that's near where I live in Arizona. But yeah, I would like to start getting on the circuit and, visiting and trying to, meet more people, because I really do want to meet my people, and they're so hard to find. Yeah. It seems like everyone has the good experience. Well, what about the bad experience? Because there's always good and bad, but you can't seem to find those people. I mean, even when I was at UFO Congress, people were coming up to me. I was at Terry's table and just sitting there with them, and they're like, "Oh, I understand everything. I feel so good. This is so awesome." And it's like, well, okay, but this is great, but I really got to find the people who are really mad like me. So
yeah, you would really enjoy talking to our buddy Justin. He was on our podcast There's a video also on our YouTube channel. It gets a lot of love from people. There's a lot of people that are definitely in that frame of mind, that like, hey, no more abductions. Just leave us alone. Like, this is not a good idea.
Yeah.
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 I think it's like our
name? What's his last name?
Well, I don't think he wanted to share his last name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But let me. It's on our YouTube here. Let's see. Yeah, if you go to UFO Con and type UFO Con and then Justin UFO Garage. We were at UFO Con a couple months ago. We were actually at UFO Congress too in September. Were you there in September?
Yeah, I was.
Oh well,
yeah.
we must that was our first conference, so we probably saw you or even met you. I don't know.
Probably.
Possible.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. I saw your interview with Les Velez.
Oh,
Yeah.
At one of them, I don't think it was UFO Congress. Maybe it was, but I that's how I found you guys, because I was like, how can I get on podcasts? Because I really need to spread my message. And then I saw that, and I'm on the Opus network.
okay.
On their forum where they're Google groups, and I actually asked Les if I could put my book on his, in his discussion group, because I'm trying to find people.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
he agreed, so it was cool. But I saw your interview with him. I think you were sitting around, and he came walking by, and then he just sat behind you on like the stage. And
Yeah. That was it. That was at UFO Con. We had a little booth there, and we were just kind of catching people or speakers, and lots of people there that had great stories too. We didn't get on camera or record, but had a lot of really awesome conversations. So we're really glad you reached out to us, because we love talking about the oh man, wouldn't it be cool to meet an alien? And I still think it'd be cool, but I think it's good to get that other perspective. And yeah, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, as Joe likes to say.
Well, if you do meet one, I mean, make sure if you see one, make sure you get up and touch them. Don't be sitting there frozen in fascination like the rest of us. Try to do one for the team, and find out what do they feel like, what do they seem like, because we all want to know.
Yeah, that seems to be like the hard part, right?
Right.
That seems to be the hard part. Do you know, do you feel like you might have an answer as to what it is they want with you? What are they here for? What do they want from you? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know. It's just as big of a mystery as the whole story. But some people feel like they have an understanding as to why it is that they mess with them. So I was kind of curious.
I truthfully think, and this is going to sound really negative, but I truthfully think that they enjoy hurting us and they get off on it. That's my feeling.
Fair enough.
Because why would they continue? Here I am. I'm actually 58 now after I wrote the book. And, a 58-year-old woman, what the heck could you possibly get out of, taking me every single night? I mean, I don't have eggs anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
what
exactly.
in the heck?
Yeah,
so I truly think that's what it is.
You do hear a lot of the love and light side of it, but it's very often that you run into somebody that's like, oh, I just think they like it,
Yeah.
Even though that's the short explanation, it's almost like one of the better explanations to the whole thing,
Yeah.
So many theories, but very rarely is it they just like to do it, or
Yeah, I just think they enjoy it. They enjoy scaring us. I liken it to like Monsters Inc. with fuel. All right, so what's better, scare or laughter? I mean, in the end, the moral of that is laughter, right? But really, that's what that they enjoy it. They enjoy the fear, the terror, everything. So that's what I think they get out of it, and that's why I think they continue to do it to us over and over and over, because we can't remember it, and the next night we go to sleep, and then there we are again, and it's never ending. So
I've heard I've heard theories on how every race in the universe has a timeline, right? And in this race's timeline, they're not always good. They're good in part of it, and then they're bad in a different part of it. And how we perceive things, or like maybe we call to these things, but we're calling to the wrong timeline in which maybe some of us just do it wrong on accident and don't even realize it, So
yeah. Sorry.
No, you disappeared for a second.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I just realized since I had my camera sideways, I was always off looking off into the distance instead of looking at you. So sorry.
Oh, I think it's gonna work out because I think I'm gonna put the two videos next to each other, so it's almost like we're gonna be looking at each other.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. So that's gonna work
yeah,
out.
I knew this too.
Yeah. We'll put Joe in the middle because he's looking straight at the camera.
Okay, all right.
We're both going to be looking at Joe, hopefully.
Or I could be looking off to the other side.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to be saying, what is she looking at?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Well, man, I'm super fascinated in your story. Is there anything that you'd like to kind of, I guess, put out there for people that are maybe going through these experiences, and yeah, maybe talk.
Here's my book.
Yeah.
Abducted and Furious. Let's see. Is there anything else I want to put out there? I don't know. I'm trying to think. What did I leave out?
Well, can people contact you anywhere? I know you have a Facebook.
Oh yeah. I have a Facebook page, Abducted and Furious, and they can get on that. I'm still working and struggling with Facebook ads. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but oh my God, I am so frustrated. And I also have a website, LisaO'HaraOnline.com. I'm still working on that also. So I'm still a little bit new to this, and so I hope to eventually get on different podcasts, and you can reach me at my email address, which is in my book, lohara@protonmail.com. If you have experiences or just want to reach out to someone else, or if you have questions about my book once you've read it. So
awesome.
And what was the other question?
Oh, I mean, just anything you wanted to add. Joe, do you have any other questions, or are you curious about anything, or are you?
How are all the ways that people can get the book?
Oh yeah.
It's on Amazon exclusively. Being a new author, I just decided to put it on Amazon only. It's an ebook. It's $3.99 for the Amazon Kindle book. Cool. It's free. It's free on Kindle Unlimited. And then I have a paperback book also. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I didn't. Amazon is print on demand.
Oh, whoa. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So they don't have a warehouse full of books like they used to, right? They just print on demand. So they publish and then they print on demand.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's one of the frustrations though right now. So it looks like your book is coming on the 19th. Not on the 27th, but because it's non-essential. Because it's non-essential, that means that's because I sent a couple of other ones out, and they're all getting there on the 19th.
Wow.
By 8 p.m. So.
Well, I tell you what, it's not going to be long before this type of information is essential, because I feel like more and more people are starting to come around, and they definitely want the information. I mean, we've had people tell us, well, you hopped into the game at the right point. There's so many things happening right now in the community. And it's really kind of, I don't know. People are just starting to kind of wake up, I feel like. I don't know if that sounds cliche, but.
No, I agree.
That's what it seems like, to us. So I think this is the perfect time for you to put out your book and try and get your information out there. The more people that read it, the more people can cross-check it and, really help each other get some answers, because this happens to a lot of people. And you're right, a lot of people don't want to talk about it or don't even know how to talk about it. So it's good for those people to be able to relate and find material to help them relate. So
yeah, and I think that's really important because I wish more people would talk about it. I mean, but it is hard because here I wrote this book, and then I realized I told everybody everything about me that I never talk about. And now everybody knows that, I'm a psychic medium, but I'm not a practicing psychic medium. And two, that I'm an abductee. Now it's interesting when people hear that, they want to talk about the medium part, but nobody wants to talk about the abductee. They want to kind of hide from it. And I find myself too saying to myself, do I want to mention that I wrote this book? Because if I do, then I have to talk about it. And it is really hard because now you're talking about things that you hid from people. And because I wrote a book, I have to talk about it. And so, but it is hard. It is difficult. I mean, I can not completely, I feel like I can understand anyone who has to say to someone, I'm not who you thought I was, or I'm not, you know what I mean? I've had things happen. It's just so hard to admit it and then have to talk about it. So
yeah, I mean, you're extremely brave for doing this. I mean, people that I feel like it's kind of like a mission. You have to get this information out there, whether or not it hurts your relationships with friends or maybe they'll change their mind about you. I mean, yeah, it's a very extremely brave thing that you're doing. I really appreciate your work and your message. So I applaud you for that. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you so much for reaching out to us. This, I absolutely enjoyed chatting with you. Is there anything else, Joe, or you have any? No,
I think I'm good, but I'm sure, a few people will probably hear this podcast and, we have some other podcast people that are, listen in on the show. So, you might be getting some feelers out. I mean, this is how it goes. You reach out to one podcast and 3 more hit you up, right? So
yeah.
I think you'll be on a roll before you know it.
I saw you too, and I thought you sounded so cool. I wanted to be on your podcast, and was so excited when you told me that you wanted me. So I'm still excited to be here, and I appreciate it so much.
Heck yeah!
Awesome. Well, we do it because of people like you. I feel like it's important to get your story out and let the people figure out whether or not they believe it. Right? Our job is just to help people who have stuff to say, and we think that's important. So, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, hey, we'll be in touch. We'd love to have you back on in a couple months. Just we might reach if you want to come back and kind of catch up with us in a couple months. We'll hit you up or email us if you're itching. If you remember anything else or have a new experience that you want to share with us, please feel free to email us at any time.
All right, and make sure when you read my book, then you have me back, and then you can ask me questions about it.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing. Man, I wish we had some more material to go off to ask you specific questions. So we'll have to have you back on to ask you specific questions about the book.
Yeah, that would be fun. I would enjoy that.
Awesome.
And so thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. You have a good night.
Okay, you too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Whoa! So, dude, that was pretty cool, huh?
That was dope.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I hope she's able to find some more people to kind of be around that are into the same stuff and maybe kind of share the same feelings.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll go check out our episode with Justin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I have so many more. I don't know. As I'm like thinking of it, I wish I would have. I don't know. Not maybe wish I would have, but I want to dig more into like the physical. What do they look like? I want to know. I want somebody that's been abducted to be a really good illustrator, so we can see it for ourselves.
Yeah.
Because that grasshopper looking being. I mean, and the mantis one. Man, I want to see it. I see it in my mind, but I don't know. Just sounds really creepy.
Yeah,
And
it
a-
definitely does. It
and a
definitely
little
does.
icky.
But yeah, guys. So y'all go check out her book. Check out her website. She's got Facebook, so make sure you go check her out on Facebook. Show her some love. And yeah, man. I mean, that's about it for me, dude. You got anything else you got to say?
Nah, man. Go to UFOGaragePC.com and pick up a shirt. That'd be cool if you guys did that. If you guys are liking the show and want to support us, go check out a shirt. We have all kinds stuff with our logo on it. We have a shirt with Cinnamon Terry on it. If you don't know who that is,
Yeah, he's a bongo player.
he's that bongo player down on 6th Street. So you should go check out the shirt.
Oh yeah, man. All right, dude. Well,
Quite the salesman.
This was another episode
of UFO Garage. This is good. We're really good at syncopating that. Syncing that up. Yeah.
This was another episode of UFO Garage.
This has been another episode of UFO Garage.
This has been another episode.
Oh,
of
this
UFO.
has been. Right, this was. Yeah.
Yeah, this has been.
Nice. Okay.
All right. All
Well,
right, dude. Well,
I'm ready.
out.
I'm ready for this thing to be over, dude. I want you back in the studio, man.
Oh, I know. Me too. Me too. Well, we'll be. So this wasn't another episode of UFO Garage. We're continuing. Just a little bit. We're gonna be on Revolution Radio.
Oh,
on
right.
The Victim Perspective on Monday. So you guys, go check that out. We're gonna be talking to our friend Lorian.
Say the show name again. I talked over you.
The Fenton Perspective.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
dude.
so we're gonna be
So
on a radio show for 2 hours, dude. What are we gonna say?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Huh.
But like we're the ones being interviewed.
Yeah. I don't know what we're gonna say. I mean, I could talk about our UFO stuff that we've seen, or I don't know.
Oh yeah, we get to be those people this time.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Interesting. That's
Yeah.
a cool way to think about it.
Yeah.
Huh.
We could talk about our UFO experiences
Nice.
and Sedona and all that. Our listeners have probably already heard all that stuff, so it's probably a good. Oh, nice, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well.
I mean,
All right. Peace,
well,
dude.
now officially, this has been another episode of UFO Garage.
Peace.
Later, man.